Well, welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge. Let's talk horror. Today with me, I got Parker Macy, owner and operator of Creme Tangerine Records. Parker, how you doing, man?
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing very well. So with Creme Tangerine Records, I know things are kind of crazy right now during quarantine, but kind of fill us in. What do you got going on out there, brother?
We are a new and used record store and record label run out of a big old 22-foot Airstream trailer. We can only carry like 6,000 or 7,000 records at a time, but we do our best to keep it going. We've been very grateful. We've got the most loyal, kind, and courteous customers in the world, so we are feeling confident and happy we can all get through this. We're just trying to be, just like everybody else, getting through.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm glad you guys are staying safe out there. I say this on every episode, but my wife's a respiratory therapist, so the fact that you're taking social distancing and wearing masks very seriously really means a lot to us. So thank you for not thinking this is a hoax.
Yeah, absolutely. We put a big Jason mask on our door that says mask required.
That's awesome, man. And what better mask to put up there than that one, too?
Right? Yeah.
So today we are here to talk about your first horror movie, and your first horror movie was?
The Gate.
That's so awesome. Now, do you remember about how old you were when you watched this movie?
I think I was in first grade, only because I remember that my younger brother had just started talking, and it was his first horror movie, too. So it probably would have been around first grade. And it was a big long campaign with Dad to get the go ahead.
Right.
Anything. It was great.
Well, you go back and watch this movie now. Sure, like some of the CGI effects don't hold up, but man, this is a fun movie.
Oh, it's a blast. I still love it. It's great.
One scene. Oh wait, we'll talk about that when we get to your scene. But
okay.
Did your little brother actually? You said he did watch this with you, so he was probably what, 2 or 3?
He must have been. Yeah, he was very young, and it was probably a very poor parental decision. But I was so grateful to be honest. It took campaigning for at least a year before I was able to actually grab a tape from the horror section at the rental place. It was such a long campaign, but it turned out to be. That's probably a good one to start with.
Oh yeah, and for those of you that have not seen The Gate, imagine the puppetry of Labyrinth turned horror.
I can see that. Yeah,
that's and another one. This movie, I love The Gate. It's one of those movies that, again, it doesn't really hold up on the effects, but it's such a fun movie, man. Like when you have even the connection between the brother and sister. Everything feels genuine in this movie. The kid actors were great in it. They weren't too over the top. So it's a very fun movie for you to sit down and watch.
It really is. It really is. It's fun. And I actually kind of disagree on the effects. I kind of think they hold up. I kind of do. Yeah. Just, I mean, some of them obviously are really bad. But the ones that are good are really good.
Well, the thing about this movie that I will say, and I've said this on everything, I will take the practical effects, like the scene that I was going to talk about, which we'll get into here in a little bit. I'll take those practical effects over the CGI effects they do this today 10 out of 10 times, man. I'm a big practical effects guy. Let's get into that, though. Which scene do you think affected you the most and why?
The dad's face melting.
Yes!
Is that the one for you?
That's the one. That's exactly the one I'm going to talk about.
That was such a scary scene because, especially being a kid watching next to my dad, my first horror movie, it was almost like, you can't even save me. Oh shoot!
Right.
It was very intense, and it was. I think that's a good effect.
Right, and that's what I was gonna say.
Not quite Indiana Jones, but it's in the realm.
Yeah, when he puts his hand and then he looks down at his hands and sees all the goo on him.
Yeah.
It's
it just
so
disappears
awesome.
2 seconds later, and he goes inside and he's clean for some reason. It's great. It's beautiful. I love
I'm so glad that that's the scene you brought up too, man. And even though it was in every trailer when we were kids, when he looks down at his hand and he's got the eyeball inside of his hand.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that part fucked me up, man.
Yeah,
That's when he stabs it. Yes.
yeah, that was great.
So with this movie, is it one that you think, how often would you say you've watched this movie? Was this one that really stuck with you because it was your first? Or is it one that you kind of were just like, okay, if it's on, I'll watch it, but I won't actively seek it out?
I've probably seen it a couple dozen times. I probably watch it once a year now, still. I love it. I love it. It's one of the only movies I think I own digitally. It was cheap to own digitally too, so that was good. But it's great.
It's actually free on YouTube right now, so I was actually able to show my son last night.
Nice.
But it's one of those films that I'll buy the physical copy because I love owning physical copies of everything. Sure. Whether it be music or movies, I'm much more of a physical copy guy. Talking about records, I love having vinyl records.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand where you're
I'm a
coming
physical
from there.
media fanatic myself, so we salute you. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's your guys' lifeline, man. And
Yeah.
the way I've always compared it to clothes shopping. If you want to download a song or two and check it out to see if you like the record, go ahead, but buy it if you do. Like when I go clothes shopping and I try on a pair of pants, I try them on first, and if I like them, I buy them.
I like that. Yeah.
So, if you want to try on your album before you buy it, sure. But make sure you buy the album, man. Support these guys, putting their heart and souls into everything. And then distributors like you, that's your heart and soul, man. So they're literally taking money away from you guys. So always a big proponent of buy the physical media and support these people that put their lives into this stuff. So thank you for what you do, man. Owning a label, I know that can't be easy as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Especially right now with everything going on. I know it's got to be kind of a pain in the ass right now, which I'm sorry you guys are experiencing all this hardship right now with the pandemic going on.
That's all right. We're not the only ones, and there's people that have it a lot worse. So,
Love your positive attitude, brother.
Yeah. Well, that's all we got right now.
Oh, God. So when you first watch this movie, what do you think the first thing you think of when someone talks about the gate? What's the first thing that you think of?
I kind of think of the aftermath of watching the movie because there was a solid 6 months afterward where there was no way in hell that my dad was going to be allowed to show us another horror movie.
Sure.
And so I remember sharing the room with my brother afterward, and I was terrified. But in order to deal with it, what I would do is I would scare my brother so that then my parents would come into the room and stuff. That's what I remember. I would remember trying real hard to get my brother Taylor to freak out, because then I wasn't the wimp and I could probably watch another scary movie sometime soon.
Right.
But I remember for a couple, I don't know, it must have been a couple weeks. Sometimes all I'd have to do is say the gate, and my brother would go, Mom. Okay,
right. Score.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those, like, even when the big demon pops up in the middle of the house.
Right.
Like as a kid, you see that, you watch those little ones and you're like, oh,
and that's the bad practical effect. That's a bad practical effect. I'm on your side completely. Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah, like you watch, like when I can't think of his name right now, but when he falls down into the hole and he's getting bit and he's stomping those little ones, you're like, oh, I could take those out too. Then you see that big one, you're like, oh shit, never mind.
Yeah. Terry, I think, is the
there. It is.
Yeah, the metalhead friend.
Yes, when they're spinning the record backwards to learn the way. That's. Yeah. If you guys, by the way, I'm going to put this in here. If you guys have not seen The Gate yet, I just said it, but it's free on YouTube, man. It's such a good movie for you guys to watch.
It is great.
Yeah, definitely check this film out, man. It's something definitely worth the watch. Like I said, I just sat and watched it with my son again last night so he could see it, because when I haven't thought about this movie in 15 years, man. But when you brought it back up, I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Yeah.
So sitting down.
How old is your son? How old is
12.
he? 12. That's perfect. Good.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, talk about bad parenting choices. If you go on the channel and watch my sons, I did this with my son as well.
Cool.
Apparently his first horror movie was Saw, and he watched it at our old apartment when he was 6 by himself. And I was like, man, your parents sound awesome. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like, back to this movie real quick before I lose it in my mind. One thing I remember is when I was young thinking this movie was over, and then it comes right back at you with the human sacrifice angle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and rewatching, you're like, oh man, I remember this coming up. I'm watching my son like, oh, that's it, that they beat him that easy. And then Terry gets drug in, and then the sister gets drug in, and you're just like, oh my gosh. And that's a good practical effect. The monster that they have there, the guy
in the closet.
Yeah.
That monster in the closet and in the walls and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a good effect. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Terry when Terry comes out of this
chewing on the arm and stuff.
Chewing on his arm. See, I do like those, but when you watch when they try to do the CGI on the little guys, early CGI like that, it's the same thing as with Gremlins 2. Anytime you see Mogwai walk, it's just like, oh, okay.
Well, the little guys, the little demonic minions, right? Those are, I guess they were filmed separately with a green screen, but those are people in suits.
Oh, really?
And then they put them in with a forced perspective really small. But those it does look really awkward because it's full-grown men in rubber suits.
Sure.
And they just don't have enough.
The technology at that time to make it look. And that might be the same thing because a lot of the problem we have, because even Sleepaway Camp is another example of this, the movies, when they redo them and they put them on Blu-ray, the effects really, really show out, and you can really see a huge difference compared to when we watched them on VHS, when they, do the what do I want to say? Like the re-editing of the movie and they put it on Blu-ray, the effects just look so much choppier now compared to how they did when we were young watching it on TV.
I guess so, yeah. You know what? I don't really do a lot of the movie collecting. Okay. I spend my money on the shutters and all of those things, and
sure.
You know what? I as a guy that spends thousands of dollars a month on buying new product, that's probably one I probably should do more of. But I think the last time I watched Sleepaway Camp was on Shudder, and it was still great. Still great. I don't know if that's really remastered. It doesn't seem too sharp, at least not on my crappy TV. But
the part that really got me on that's what I was looking for, a remaster, not re-edit. In the part where you see the shadow in the doorway, in the remaster, you could totally tell it's the cousin. It's not Angela. You see him clear as day. That is the actor that played the cousin. Yeah. I have the Blu-ray. I'll film of that scene and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Just so you can see what I'm talking about. But
okay.
You can totally tell that.
Can you see her little pee-pee a little bit better at the end too? Or?
Oh yeah. That's what I was looking for. That's why I bought the remaster. Sure that everything was good there. We're on Sleepaway Camp though, real quick before we go back to the gate.
Okay.
The best insult that I've used my whole life, when he's like, "Eat shit and die," then he's like, "No, you eat shit and live." I use that insult all the time, and I have since I was like fucking 7 years old, bro.
Yeah.
So with this movie, we're talking about favorite kills in the gate. It's kind of hard to say that because of not really much kills in it.
I don't think there's any kills. There's some temporary disappearances with the death sacrifice thing at the end. I don't know. Maybe the best kill would be the dog. I don't even know.
I got to go back to the zombified dad, I guess. I mean,
yeah.
I don't even know if that'd be. It's not really a kill, so it's hard to say on this.
Yeah, movie. There's not really any kills in it. I think that there's just a whole bunch of scenes that. I mean, it is kind of based around a bunch of kids, and it is a bunch of scenes where like every lifeline gets taken away from you. The dad's not going to help you. The phone doesn't help you. Yeah. The hiding in the closet. Nope. Now the demons or the zombies in the closet with you through the wall. Like anywhere you could run, anywhere you could hide. Except for some reason, there's like 12 different times where you think like you could just leave.
Just go.
Just go somewhere. Like there's all the really tense scenes are just like all of their lifelines getting swooped out from under them, which is really kind of great to watch as a kid, because then all of those things you think about, getting in your bed, nope, the monster's under the bed, the whole thing, everything you can think of to do is kind of taken out from under you, which is kind of rad. I like that.
And they even had that scene where he goes under the bed and then the bed just flies away. Like, no, that's not good.
Right.
So, and you're right. As kids then, like, kids nowadays would watch this movie and be like, whatever, because all the stuff that they have to watch. Like, I watched Jaws with my son, and he was like, "This scared you?" I was like, "You're grounded. Go away." But when we were kids, this movie was terrifying, because I would stay with babysitters and stuff, and it's like, that was a scary thing for me. And then picturing something like this happening when you're with someone that's really not even an adult yet. So you can't really depend on them either because they're just as scared as you are.
Sure.
I love now that I'm older catching things like the curveballs. Like they start talking about the human sacrifices, and then the two twins are like, "Oh, we're gonna go inside and wait." So you're like, "Oh, well, they're fucked," you know. And like the little curveballs, good writing in this, man. See, they make you think, "Oh, this is gonna happen." Then it totally, "Oh, nope." I thought they were done when I was a kid. You're like, "Oh,
Right.
old horror trope. Let's not stay together."
Nope, they were fine. They ended up splitting, right?
Yeah, they left with
they
the
ended up
dude
just like getting bored and leaving. Like there's nothing really fun happening here. Let's get out of here.
The boyfriends came.
Okay.
And they hid in the closet to scare him. Then the sister got all pissed off. She's like, "I've had enough scares tonight." So they just leave. Like,
go with them. Just leave with them.
Yes, it's one of those things. Like, so with this movie, I'd like to do a skull count as well. 0 being the worst, 5 being the best. If you were going to rate this movie on a skull count, and half skulls do count, what would you rate it?
5.5 skulls. I love it. I mean, it has a lot of sentimental attachment to it, with me.
Sure.
Once that I was kind of allowed to watch horror movies, it was the one I wanted to go to all the time, and I got it. There was probably, elementary school, I thought it was the most terrifying thing in the world. And then middle school, I probably watched it a few more times thinking it was cool. And then by high school, I think whenever I want to watch something scary, I'd put it on and go like, oh, maybe I was just being a wimp. And now as an adult, I go, no, there was some crazy shit in there for a 6-year-old. And it's probably one of the scarier, things that, at least in my house, that we would have been allowed to watch. At probably even a few years later. So I think I would honestly say for myself, because you're asking my opinion, it's a five skull flick.
See, and the way I compare, I hate using this comparison, but it's the only one that really fits for me. I compare it to drugs. Like when you watch that first horror movie, you get that first high, you're constantly chasing the dragon after that, trying to get that fear and that scare again, but you never have that terror like you do with the first horror movie you ever watched.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, little bits, but yeah.
But that first time, you're always like, man, this was, and like you said, you relive it for weeks.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like my first one, I don't know if you remember, but it was from 1985, House.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Love that. I still to this day, I have the shirt, the poster. I still have everything about that movie is amazing to me. I think that's one of the best movies ever made, man. Like, and maybe it's because I'm sentimental because it's the first one I ever watched. But
no, you're right. It's great.
I appreciate you saying that, man. I feel like it's mine. Cool. He likes it.
No, yeah. I mean, your first one you got to. I've got the Gate poster. I've got Gate T-shirts. I've got magazine clippings about Gate stuff from stuff. I mean, your first one is the drug. You're gonna go back to it.
It's always. Did you ever see any of the Gate sequels or?
Never. No.
I was going to ask your opinion on them because I haven't seen them either. It's one of those things where when you love a movie that much, you almost don't want to watch a sequel to it.
I don't know. I think somebody told me one time it was no good, and I went okay. And then I've never even. But I mean, is there more than one? I just know Gate 2. I've seen. That's
the only one I know of is Gate 2. There may be more, but that's the only one I know.
Yeah, that's the only one I know of. But then again, I haven't even seen that one. So
right. So I definitely understand that. So I'm gonna go Scream on you real quick. We just found out your first horror movie, but what's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, like. Scary movie or just in the horror genre?
In the horror genre is fine.
I think I get the most enjoyment out of watching I'm thinking of
sorry to put you on the spot, man. I just gotta know.
I don't know. What do I get the most enjoyment out of? I think my favorite horror movie or anything like that scary movie is whatever I'm watching next. I don't know. You're always searching for that little bit of I want to be afraid of the dark. I want to be if I'm alone, I don't want to go out on the patio to have a cigarette by myself because maybe I'll hear
Sure.
something. I want that still, and I'm 36. I'll tell you, when I saw, there'll be movies that I'll have a scene or two of that'll freak me out for a while. What's the one that started? What's the one that started that whole Annabelle franchise? The Conjuring?
The Conjuring.
I thought that was terrifying as an adult to watch, and I thought that was really cool that it stuck with me for a couple weeks. A couple of those scenes. Anything demons, I always get a little bit into. Sequels have left a lot to be desired, but I really liked that first one. I thought it was really cool because as an adult, it made me actually reconsider getting up to piss, which is exactly what I'm searching for.
Well, did you see
anything that can do that?
Have you seen Z? That's on Shudder. Have you watched that yet?
No.
I would strongly recommend it, man. If you're into just the letter Z.
Okay. Cool.
It's one of those movies. Actually has a scene in it. Again, as a 34-year-old man, it has a scene in it where I went, "Oh fuck, nope, nope, I'm good."
Okay. All right. All right.
So if you watch it, please let me know. Which I guarantee you'll know the scene right when you see it. But man, it's one of those movies I went into blind. I got a couple ads for it on Instagram actually, and I was like, "Sure, let's check it out." Me and my wife were having a horror movie night. We watched it, and we were same thing with The Conjuring. Like in The Conjuring, the scene that always got me was when the one guy walks into the room, he sees the lady, and then she pops out of the door. She's like, "Look what she made me do!" And she's all up. Like that kind of shit. I'm with you, man. Like when it comes out of nowhere and it makes you jump, and you're, oh fuck, that's what I get. Like, damn it, that, those are the scenes that really get me, man.
I like that. I want that. And there's a couple different ways that I want to laugh at how stupid something is. I want to laugh at the eat shit and live kind of lines. I want to giggle at the superfluous boobs. I think there's a million tropes in the horror movies that are great that can be done a million different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But there's the terrifying things, and then there's like The Gate for me is just like almost like a complete just walk down memory lane or something like that. Like,
see, I'm with you. Like horror is one of the things that you can't just say this is the best horror movie because there's so many different ways.
The Conjuring doesn't even make the top 100. It's just the example I thought of in my head.
Right.
I keep going back in my head to Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein because that was the one I probably watched the most as a kid, and it's not scary at all. But it's got Bela Lugosi playing Dracula. It's got the Wolfman. It's got Frankenstein. And I mean, before I even saw The Gate, that was what got me into the idea of something like that. These is kind of fun, kind of creepy, kind of cool. But I was laughing the whole time because I was Abbott and Costello.
Abbott and Costello.
Yeah.
So
that's one of my favorite scary movies too. It's not scary, but.
Right. Well, I know a lot of people that shit on horror comedy, man, but I think my favorite my favorite horror movie is Cabin in the Woods, man. Like, I absolutely love that movie. I think it's genius. I think that it's funny. I think it's scary. I think to me that's the perfect horror movie because it has a mix of everything. To me, it's like the Back to the Future of the horror genre. Like it has every aspect of why does this happen? How does this happen? But you laugh your ass off while you're watching the movie too. So yeah,
it is great.
I love that movie. I'd have to say that's my favorite. Okay. So, well, man, anything else you want to promote while you're on here? Talk about anything you got coming up?
You know what? I don't know what's coming up right now. So
I know it's kind of.
You know what? I would like to promote Sledgehammer Horror, and like and subscribe.
I appreciate that very much. When you do have updates, please send them my way so I can update everybody on what's going on. I can't wait for things to get back to normal, not just for your sake or my sake, but for all of our sake.
Absolutely.
This has been a blast for me, and I'm going to let everybody know we will be doing a Coffee and Killers episode together. It's something that we're going to be discussing, which I appreciate very much. And make sure that you're checking out the Instagram. I'll put that down in the bio. And make sure you send me your Facebook and Twitter links. I don't know if I have those yet or not. I'll put those in the bio as well.
We really just do Instagram. Don't worry about it. Just
Instagram?
Yeah, the rest of it's kind of just a wasteland that mirrors our Instagram.
Well, you guys make sure you're checking this out. If you're a collector of vinyl records, hit these guys up because not only is it vinyl records and someone that's running a record label, it's the best way to spell Creme Tangerine Records of all time.
Yeah.
So we had that talk. If you guys like the Beatles, that'll definitely hit a little close to home with you as well. So
that's right.
Parker, I really appreciate you coming on, man. It means the world to me.
You got it. And you know what? If you're a horror fan and you're a record guy, check out Terror Vision and Waxwork Records and Mondo and Death Waltz and all the guys that are doing a really good job of putting out some really cool, fun stuff to let your worlds collide there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I'm gonna hit you up when we're done with this so I can kind of get some more information on that as well.
You got it, brother.
All right, man. Take it easy, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. We'll be seeing Parker soon.